Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's reading the Red this Monday morning. And yes, rainy Monday morning. The rain comes down again. Mark chapter 6 and 38. But he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go look." And when they found that, they said, 5 and 2 fish. 5 and 2 fish. So he asked them, "How many loaves do you have? Go look. How many loaves do you have? Go and find out what provision there is." And then the strategy that he used was to set them in 50s and 10s, and he provided for the groupings. Jesus created a strategy in order to feed the 5,000 men plus women and children. Maybe 10,000 people. So this idea that God, in effect, takes what we have and he uses it to bring a blessing to, in this case, 10,000 people. God uses what we've got if we give what we've got back to him to be used by him. You know, everything that God ever did, he takes from what's already there. The miracles, the signs, the wonders, they're often formed by little demonstrations of acts and ways in which God uses the very kind of natural to bring about the blessing in a situation. You know, if I just touch his garment, I will get healed. You know, this sense of being in touch with what's already there. Jesus says, go and find out what you have, and then let me do what I can do. And God uses what we can give, and then he blesses it. Now, many people disregard this miracle of the feeding of the 5,000 as just kind of a good story. Not me. I believe that what God did in Jesus on that day through those disciples and those 5 loaves and 2 fish was to feed perhaps 10,000 people. I believe that. I believe it happened. I believe it. And it took place in history. And though it's very difficult for us to understand the principle of multiplication in regards to a miracle, nevertheless, Jesus set this thing into motion. And where we fall when we see activities like this in the life of Jesus determines really whether we're likely to enter into that realm of the supernatural activity of God, or whether we would limit ourselves to seeing God as just someone that's a spiritual kind of reality, and it doesn't really affect the natural reality. No, I believe that God is about changing circumstances. I believe Jesus came to bring solutions to problems, not to reiterate the problems by making declarations about the problems. I believe that Jesus was sent into the world by God in order to save the world from the predicaments that mankind and sin had been drawn into. And this was a miracle that Jesus performed. And yes, it did happen. And even though we may not ever be able to demonstrate it in a kind of an evidence way, the fact is one day when we're in glory, we will be able to see the reality of what Jesus did. And we will know that he is able to do all things because he is a miraculous God. And we need to live in the reality of knowing that he's a God that brings miracles even in today's situations. And yes, it's true that we are still struggling to kind of get past the first base. The fact is that doesn't change anything as it relates to what God is able to do. He is a God of miracles, and this was a true story. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.